Finally happened, folks. The Arizona Cardinals got that pesky Sean McVay monkey off of their back. They finally beat McVay and the LA Rams, and the Arizona Cardinals, one of the few unbeatens as we record this podcast, remaining in the NFL, 4-0 to the damn moon. It's Bo Brock. It's Alex Clancy. It's Locked on Cardinals.
You are Locked on Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, can you see that? Are you looking up? It's a majestic cardinal just taking flight at 4-0. The Arizona Cardinals rise up, Red Sea, on the heels of a huge win. One of the biggest wins, if not the number one win of the Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray era. They completely just blow the doors off the Los Angeles Rams. And, man, I love it. My Twitter mentions there's Cardinals fans with receipts for all those cocky Rams fans. You got to check out our YouTube commenters as well. They were chirping. Not so much these days. Bo Brock, Alex Clancy, Locked on Cardinals. Thank you so much for making Locked on Cardinals your first listen each and every day. We're the best daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. I think we're the only daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. I'll have to check those receipts. I believe going where we're giving you daily content. We're giving you the halftime show. And, man, Alex, the past halftime show for the Arizona Cardinals they just came out of the gates and never really looked back against this Rams team.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens when you don't throw an interception to start the third quarter. Seriously. I mean, like that was a huge catalyst for the Cardinals being able to just stomp on the throat of the Rams and really never lose control of this game after giving up that early touchdown to Van Jefferson. Like, I don't know how to feel right now.
Yeah.
It's like this is not something that we're used to watching, especially on the road. SoFi was rocking after coming off their win against the Bucks last week. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I'm speechless. Like, Cliff, and listen, all joking aside.
That.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I these earbuds really make me hear you way too clearly. With Cliff, it's like, oh, okay. He's here now, which is weird because it was just an off season and then he knew how to coach. Is it the players? Like, is it Rodney Hudson? Like, as we talked about at halftime, all of the additions on the offensive side are working. All of them are working.
They are.
And it's helping Cliff, definitely.
Look, Cliff is finding his stride. He's finding his stride as what he's supposed to be, the play caller. And I think a lot of people will agree that Cliff Kingsbury had his finest moment as Arizona Cardinals head coach on Sunday against the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, he was just masterful. He was out there and he was the maestro, and he was just got the whole choir, got the whole orchestra going. And the Arizona Cardinals, it was beautiful. Kyler Murray, 268, 2 touchdowns. He didn't find the end zone with his legs for the first time this season, but he also, as you mentioned, he took care of the football out of the gates in the second half. And for the fourth straight game, I like this. I like that the Arizona Cardinals, when given the opportunity, are choosing to take the ball at halftime. They're going to try to set the tone defensively. And the Arizona Cardinals were able to kind of do that. It was a rough start, and we're going to get into this. We're going to break down this entire contest, and we're going to take a little tiny peek at the end of this thing a week forward. Can the Arizona Cardinals avoid the same fate of the Los Angeles Rams, where they don't get, caught in the previous week reading those press clippings and coming off and having a letdown after a huge win, because the Rams were just coming off a win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their fan base believed that they could do no wrong. They thought that they were going to be a perfect 17-0 for the most part. They didn't see anything going wrong. Matthew Stafford reverting back to the guy he was in Detroit, but that's exactly what we saw. We saw Matthew Stafford miss on passes. We saw him feel uneasy in the pocket despite not being sacked the entire game. And the Arizona Cardinals getting enough stops that they needed, and the offense just being everything that we envisioned it could be when they decided to couple Cliff Kingsbury with Kyler Murray, bring in DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. What's your favorite stat? I don't know what the number is anymore, but what's your favorite stat? The Cardinals are overwhelming when they rush for over 150 yards, right?
Yeah.
So
they went over 200.
They want to. So let's take away Chase Edmonds' 55-yard scamper at the end of the game. Okay, let's just remove that as just one side of the spectrum and the other. Okay, they ran for over 150 yards. They ran the ball 40 times. So 38 times if you don't want to count Colt McCoy's 2 kneel downs. If you can put up that many points with Kyler Murray only running the ball 6 times, and you run the ball 40 times, they could win the Super Bowl. Like, seriously, that's not a crazy thing to say anymore. If any team could run the ball 38 times for over 200 yards and put up almost a 40-burger without any sort of defensive scores, you could win the Super Bowl. That's how you used to win the Super Bowl. You play defense and you run the ball. And do I think that's going to happen? No, it's impossible to run the ball 40 times every game and win. That's not the nature of the game now. But everything that they did today had purpose and it worked. The game plan worked. And Kyler Murray, he wasn't touched. I think he was sacked once. He was hit hard once. And it was the second play of the game where I don't remember who it was. Leonard Floyd was in his kitchen right away. But besides that, I mean, he was able to do as he pleased back there.
He was sacked 3 times, but as you look at this game, and it shows, you talk about Cliff Kingsbury now versus where he was when he started his career as the Arizona Cardinals head coach, one of the weirdest rises to become an NFL head coach, fired from his alma mater months before at the college level, 35-40. And now he's a guy that's going to be a game under 500 overall as Arizona Cardinals head coach. I believe he's 17-18-1 at this point, which is incredible that they were 5-10-1 to start his career. But it's kind of like this slow rise, right? And that's kind of what this one was, because the Arizona Cardinals, they defer. The Rams come out. There were a lot of wide open receivers. You're like, holy crap, here we go again. Rams look good. Those guys are open. Matthew Stafford misses, but they hold him to a field goal. You take it. The offense comes out. Didn't look great to start. A couple penalties. Josh Jones kind of got abused a little bit. It's a punt. Next thing you know, they get the ball back, and the Arizona Cardinals, it's Kyler Murray after the Byron Murphy pick, throwing a beautiful 41-yard touchdown strike to AJ Green, and then the game just changed. The game just changed. The Rams were able to score, but the Arizona Cardinals offense after that drive was just like, yeah, nobody's stopping us. Rams, they've got a good. It's like they're good. Yeah, but we're better. We're the leader in the NFL clubhouse right now as far as points scored per game. We're going to show you what a good offense looks like. They go out, they get another score. They're able to get the fumble, and then the Arizona Cardinals are able to capitalize on that. And then it's just, holding. Then it's just kind of holding serve and going, tit for tat the rest of the game. And next thing you know, they win 37-20. They won by 17 over Sean McVay, a guy they've never beaten before.
Yeah, I mean, and the game was never really in doubt after they took the lead. Because you, as you mentioned, everything you said is right. I mean, you're just expecting something to happen because it always does. Daryl Henderson was running at will, him and Sony Michel, before Sony Michel fumbled later in the game. Like, it just looked like it had the recipe of the same baking that we saw of the last 8 times they played the Cardinals. They played the Rams. And I truly think that AJ Green being on the field is making the majority of this possible offensively. Like, what we're seeing from him, he's quiet. You're never going to hear him. But the dude being the bookend to Nuke is allowing we didn't see anything from Christian Kirk today at all.
No.
And the offense still hummed. And AJ Green he's like a duck. They're very smooth on top of the water, but they're pedaling it like hell under. And he just looks graceful. He's a pro. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals just stole him. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it can't be understated what he does for this offense.
Yeah, I don't think Cincinnati, it was just kind of a perfect time. It was a mutual parting of ways for AJ Green to go. They've got a bunch of young receivers there in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. We saw on Thursday night that he's not missing AJ Green, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that AJ Green is damaged goods. And he's proving that for the Arizona Cardinals, but it's all about the Arizona Cardinals changing the narrative, and it's game by game. And I felt like it started last year, and there was unfinished business, and we talked about it all off season long, and we'll continue to talk about it here on Locked On Cardinals, that changing the narrative for this team that is 4-0. We're going to get into that convo. Bo Brock, Alex Clancy, make sure you're following along on Twitter at Locked On AZ Cards. That's a sigh. That's a good sigh. That's a sigh of
I
relief.
love these podcasts. I love these. We
is great.
deserve this too, damn it.
it's been since 2018 when we really, you and I teamed up and we started doing this, and it was basically an entire season where we're previewing the number one overall pick for the most part.
Yeah.
A lot of things have changed. Now we're going to preview another big divisional game. But first, I got to tell you about Get Upside. It's an incredible app that everyone who buys gas needs to know about. Get Upside, the Get Upside app. Our listeners are making up to 25 cents every gallon of gas every time they fill up. Just download the free Get Upside app in the App Store or the Google Play at Google Play right now. Use the promo code touchdown, like all the ones that the Arizona Cardinals were scoring on Sunday. Touchdown. You get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That's 50 cents cash back per gallon on your first tank. Don't pay full price at the pump anymore. Get cash back by using Get Upside. Just download the app for free. Use the promo code touchdown. Get 50 cents per gallon cash back your first tank. Some people who are driving a lot are making upwards of $300 a month in cash back, and there's no catch. The cash gets added to your account. Cash out anytime, your bank account, PayPal, e-gift card for Amazon or other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app. Use the promo code touchdown. It's the free Get Upside app. That promo code gets you an extra 25 cents on your first fill up. That's 50 cents per gallon on your first fill up with the Get Upside app. Man, we're so fortunate. Alex talked about how excited he is every time to do these podcasts, especially after a victory, because it's unbelievable to see how many people are tuning in, how many people are excited about this team, how many people are talking about it on social media at Locked On AZ Cards, at Clancy's Corner, and at BOBRACK Bo Brock. It really is. It's a blast. It's been fun since we started this thing, and it's becoming even more fun each and every time we crack these mics. And coming off of wins, like we're even us who are following this team so closely and every day, that we get surprised by performances like by this team, Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, and seeing this team develop. And I was kind of talking about it and teasing that they're changing the narrative. And they win out of the gates in 2020. They beat the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. And then they have a couple hiccups down the road in that season. And everybody's like, well, they can't beat the Titans. The Titans, they've been in the postseason back-to-back years. They've got Derrick Henry. They've got Julio Jones. They've got Ryan Tannehill. What are they going to do? They don't have a secondary. They don't have a playmaking tight end. They don't have all these things. And Cliff Kingsbury can't be a good play caller. And they're 3-0 going into this game. They can't beat Sean McVay. Remember 34-0? Remember 33-0? Everybody wanted to bring out all these reasons why they couldn't win. And then they go out there and they show, how can you can't stop us. You can't stop Kyler Murray with all these weapons. When it's just, they're changing the narrative, and they can continue to do that with another win next week in week 5 against the San Francisco 49ers, who are they're in flux.
Yeah. It's the Cardinals. They've already got through 3 of their road games. I mean, they're 4-0 with 3 of those games on the road. So they've got this is set up for a magical season now. It's set up, barring any sort of injury. And this isn't glamorizing. This isn't, using hyperbole. Less than a quarter of the way into the season now, being in 17 weeks.
Right.
These are things that happen when teams make magical runs. These are things that happen, and the fact that they had 9 road games and only 8 home games, the fact that 3 of the road games are already out of the way, one of which is against the perennial, big brother in the Rams. This is just going to be really fun to see how it plays out, because they're not playing with house money yet, and they're probably not. House money is the wrong way to say it, but nobody expected them to start 4-0. Really, come on. I mean, nobody expected them before the season started to start 4-0.
No,
you would have hoped for 2-2 through Tennessee on the road and the Rams on the road, 2 of the tougher road games they were going to have to play. You would take 2-2, and the fact that they're 4-0, the fact that the Seahawks and 49ers don't look as good as they once did. And I mean, I don't know.
Look,
I don't know.
There's going to be a letdown. There's going to be a lull in this season. And games, the last couple, especially a game against the Minnesota Vikings where you barely sneak by. It takes the kicker missing a 37-yarder to get that W. It gives you a buffer to be able to move forward in those losses that they will inevitably experience. Look, I mean, this team's really, really good. I don't think any of us are predicting, an undefeated season. But at the same thing, it's going to, at some point, things are going to get tougher. Injuries happen, adjustments happen, lulls happen, guys get tired. When you start 4-0, it gives you such a head start in such a tough league. And to get a win over a big division opponent, one that was riding high like the Los Angeles Rams, it can do wonders for you. Like this, you're right. These are like the Vikings game, beating up on the Titans and the Rams. Needs to tell and put everybody on notice that this team isn't just, it's not like a sideshow any longer. It's not just a couple big names, and it's a team that's going to be legitimately contend to win the division and contend for a playoff spot in the NFC, if not push a couple wins in the postseason.
Right. And bounces need to go your way at any point to win a lot of games in the NFL. So you have a kicker that misses an extra point and misses a chippy field goal. Things like that need to happen to win. Sure. Like, you're not going to be dominant all the time. Even with the Chiefs last year were down. Not even then, during the playoff row where they won the Super Bowl, they were down 20 plus points 2 games in a row. Things have to happen like that. And the Cardinals find themselves in a spot where, even though their schedule ain't going to get easier, like, this is a murderer's row schedule. They have the 49ers at home, the Browns on the road, then they have Houston at home, and then a short week they have the Packers at home. Like, there is going to be they played Carolina this year, who's much improved. They're going to play Seattle twice still, the 49ers twice still. It's great. That's why these wins, stacking them up early, is paramount for if they want to tread water enough to make the playoffs. Because once you make the playoffs, you find it doesn't matter if it's at home, on the road, record, get in. Just get in.
Yeah. And when you've got a guy like Kyler Murray, the sky's the limit. You have no idea, what he can do once the lights get a little bit brighter. I got a good feeling that we're going to get a taste of that this season, especially after big wins like this. Now, getting back to this W, we continue to see this team, when they got in close, they were unstoppable because they had that ability. We didn't see Kyler Murray waltz into the end zone, not once, this entire game, but we did see 2 more James Conner touchdowns for the second straight week. He was plunging into the end zone. It's like you got the KISS method there, keep it simple, stupid. Or we've got Rondell Moore, we've got Chase Edmonds, we've got Kyler Murray as far as the Arizona Cardinals offense is concerned. And then you don't even kind of tap into the ability of who you could throw the ball to. It's just, it's an embarrassment of riches right now, and they're cashing in.
Yeah. I mean, and I've said this, it's a dream scenario when Kyler Murray doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to do this for them to win. He can play quarterback. You want to give the ball to James Conner. First and goal from the 5. You want to give it to your running back. That's his job. You would like to not to have Kyler Murray do it. Obviously, you have it as a wrinkle, but it can't be something that everybody's expecting. Those naked bootlegs off of play action are setting up James Conner being able to waltz into the end zone. And if you think that every running back, it's easy to get in from first and goal in the 3 when everybody knows you're running the ball, ask Kenyon Drake, ask David Johnson at times when he was here. James Conner can get in the damn end zone. And he's going to stack up 10 touchdowns if they use him like that this year.
Yeah.
It's great. You're right, the embarrassment of riches, they've got legitimately 4 guys who can make a difference out of the backfield. The 2 running backs, Kyler and Rondell Moore, as you mentioned. Yeah. Good luck stopping all of them.
Well, yeah, you have to be, if you're going to stop them that close to the goal line or to the end zone, you have to guess right 4 times. You have to go 4 for 4 in guessing, and because it's not the Cleveland Browns or the Tennessee Titans where they're going to hand the ball off to their running back and he's going to try to plunge in each and every time, or it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with that quarterback sneak with Tom Brady. They can go 4 different play calls, and you have to be 4 for 4 in guessing how to defend it. Otherwise, they're going to score. It's insane. They were set like at 76% before the game. And they were perfect in this contest. They were 8 for 13 on third down. Kyler Murray continues to show poise when he's under pressure and getting the ball into his playmakers' hands. We saw another big play by Rondell Moore. We've seen more plays from A.J. Green. He had the touchdown. Max Williams continues to be a great safety valve for Kyler Murray. 66 yards. He had his first touchdown in the season, tied his career high. That's a career high for Max Williams. He's had one a couple times in his career. Max Williams, he's making people forget that Dan Arnold even played on this. Dan Arnold, who already was traded from the Carolina Panthers this past week to Jacksonville. Poor guy. The Arizona Cardinals are rolling right now. You're going to see them as far as the top, as far as total yards, as far as offenses go, as far as points scored, they're going to be in there as well.
These are Chiefs numbers from 2 years ago. They really are. They're putting up 30 to 40 points a game. And they're leaving points on the field too. This isn't like they're scoring on every drive.
Last year. This was the top defense last year in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's Marcus Aurelius. It's like, are you not entertained? This is Gladiator. What else do you need? Arizona Cardinals 4-0, take out the Rams 37-20. How can the Arizona Cardinals avoid becoming the Los Angeles Rams and get too high? How can they avoid that letdown game? There's a big game coming up. It's week 5 against the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to get into that conversation, more takeaways from this game. It's unreal. The Arizona Cardinals, nobody really expected it. Alex mentioned, we could see a blowout. We could see a blowout in the favor of the Arizona Cardinals, but nobody was the smart money on that. We'll get into more from this game. Locked On Cardinals. Got to tell you about DirecTV Stream. It's the best way to get all the entertainment you love without the hassle. DirecTV Stream brings you live TV on-demand favorites together like never before, which means you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and TV shows all in one place. And the best part, there's no annual contract. So stop waiting to get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. You want to tell them about Built Bar, Alex?
Yeah, I definitely do. So Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar on the planet. They like to say that they are the healthiest candy bar on the planet because it tastes too good to be a protein bar that's good for you, but they are. Limited time flavor this week is cookie dough chunk. I ate all of mine. Bo rations his. I know that he loves his wife and that he's had a child with his wife, but I feel like he'd choose Built Bars and his ability to do it over a lot of things that he has to compromise with, because Built Bars, they're that good. They have 9 normal flavors: coconut almond, cherry, raspberry, mint brownie, peanut butter brownie, double chocolate, and salted caramel. But they've got the limited time stuff, and that's where the real good stuff comes in. I mentioned cookie dough chunk. 17 or 18 grams of protein in all of them. They're all chocolate covered. They've got 5 grams of sugar max, only 4 grams of net carbs. Go to built.com and write LOCKED15 in the promo code area to get 15% off your first order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at builtbar.com.
I want you to do yourself a favor. Just go to whatever sports website you prefer, ESPN.com, CBS Sports. Just check out the standings. Just look at it. Just marvel at the standings. Just look at it. The NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals 4-0, Los Angeles Rams 3-1, Seahawks 2-2, San Francisco 49ers 2-2. Seahawks took out the Niners. What was it, 28-21 that final? It was Jimmy G going out with a calf injury, and Trey Lance starting the second half. And the Arizona Cardinals take on the San Francisco 49ers. They return home to the nest, State Farm Stadium, playing in front of the Red Sea. And I don't think anybody can argue that the Niners are down, but I don't think also you can argue that this is going to be a gimme for the Arizona Cardinals come week 5. This is
agreed. Yeah, because I mean, this could be Jalen Hurtsy from last year, where determining if they're going to start Trey Lance in his first ever game against the Cardinals coming up on Sunday. Jalen Hurts, it was his second start. I think he came in and beat the Saints, or he started 2 games before coming into play the Cardinals last year, where the Cardinals won. But
a shootout. What was it, 37-34 that game?
Yeah, it was a close game. But yeah, I'd rather be the Cardinals than the 49ers right now, because you're looking at it and the great defenses from last year, great defense, the definition's changing. It's like, if you can give up 21 points, you're a great defense, with how things are shifting all towards offense. Now, obviously, there's going to be the misnomers, and like Buffalo held Houston and that college football team to a goose egg today. But it's going to be a true test to see if the Cardinals every week will be able to protect Kyler Murray like they did the week previously. And the 3 sacks, I didn't even know he had 3 sacks today, Because I mean, it was a non-issue for the majority of the game. He wasn't running around like a crazy person behind the line of scrimmage trying to evade big, large men trying to tackle him, But I did want to get to this before we got out of here. How surprised are you the secondary is the strength of this defense right now and not the pass rush?
Yeah,
because all the Twitter, it's Chandler Jones has been non-existent since that five sack game. JJ Watt was in the backfield, but I feel like it's not fair to quantify their worth to the team based on sack numbers.
Right. So Byron Murphy had his third pick of the season early in that contest, which was huge. It changed the game. It turned the game around. He had the rib injury where he was he still played, but he's limited. And then poor Marco Wilson had his pick. It was just like Kyler Murray got the roughing the passer in the first half. Matthew Stafford got that call to go his way. It took off poor Marco Wilson's first career interception from that game. But you're right. There's a couple things, and I said the changing the narrative thing. It's the Arizona Cardinals, their organization, as far as what they believe this group could be in the cornerback room. And Robert Alford finally being healthy after 2 seasons, Byron Murphy taking the step forward and believing in the player that they traded up for in the 4th round and Marco Wilson, that was good enough. So a lot of people believe that was naive. They're changing their thought process on that. Max Williams, but in his ability to make plays, is changing the idea that they needed to bring somebody else in at the tight end position. They're right on a couple of things through 4 games of the season.
Yeah, I mean, but the truth still is that they're playing. I mean, they're on a trapeze without a safety net in the cornerback room. If one guy goes down, if one guy goes down, even Marco Wilson, Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson can only make up for so much if the pass rush isn't going to help them like they did in week 1. So,
that guy, by the way, it was just because I feel like he doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah,
Jalen Thompson is awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah. He hits really hard.
He hits hard.
It's really hard.
Coverage. He's kind of the unsung hero right now, through 4 games.
That's Steve Keim's best value pick ever is Jalen Thompson. It is. I mean, it is because you could say David Johnson because, whatever, 21 games he was good. Seriously, he wasn't elite for very long. And he had the wrist injury, whatever, that knocked him out. But Jalen Thompson, supplemental draft at a Wazoo after drafting Budda Baker, it's like, oh man. But then he couldn't stay healthy. I think he had COVID. He was either COVID or leg injury last year or both. But he is the perfect backup dancer to Budda Baker. And Budda's always going to get the credit because he's special. But yeah, Jalen Thompson deserves his due for sure.
The point you made about offense and getting back to could there be a letdown in the works and not to poo-poo this win or anything, but I think it's trying to be a little bit more realistic than Rams were going into this game. The Arizona Cardinals, they're facing a good defense, but you mentioned the Seahawks have a good offense, but I think the Arizona Cardinals are better right now offensively than the Seahawks, and the Seahawks had enough offense to where San Francisco can't keep up right now. Sure, Deebo Samuel's having a great season, but that's it. Yeah. That's it. So, the Arizona Cardinals can't let that thing become a grinded out game next week.
Right. Just like against Tennessee, they will run down your throat with whoever jersey they want to put on in the backfield with the 49ers. And the Cardinals, their run defense hasn't been good. It hasn't been good. But luckily, they've been putting up so many points, as you mentioned. It's completely, I don't know, whatever word I'm trying to say. It completely removes being able to run the rock for the majority of your offensive plays out of the equation. Neutralizes, neutralized Derrick Henry completely, and the Cardinals just ran away. So you're right. If they can put up points early, what the hell are we watching? They put up 140 points in the first 4 weeks. What?
The fact is, the Niners can't cover all the players that the Cardinals have. They just can't.
Yeah.
They signed Josh Norman off the streets, and it could get out of hand for them. They need to take advantage of that. So we'll see what happens with that. The Arizona Cardinals, as far as that's concerned. Any more takeaways from this W before we send people off for the rest of their Monday? And
I'd rather have the Chiefs. I'd rather have the Cardinals offense than the Chiefs offense right now.
Oh, I don't. That's a hot take right there. Tyreek Hill.
The peaks are there. The peaks
Kelsey,
are there for sure. Yes.
Patrick Mahomes.
But who else? Would you rather have Mecole Hardman or Christian Kirk?
Yeah, no
Would you
doubt
rather
about
have
it.
those running backs or the running backs that the Cardinals have with Kyler Murray's ability to run the ball? It's a lot closer than it's ever been.
It hits you from all angles. I mean, they've got it. It's very diverse what they've got set up. It's really impressive, and it's finding its stride. And it was like, that's why I wanted people not to freak out so much early on. It was just the Arizona Cardinals. You had to figure this thing out. There was one less preseason game. There's new play being implemented in the offense, and they're starting to figure it. They figured it out, and it looked really good on against the Los Angeles Rams, 37-20, dominating performance. Yeah, I mean, you can't say anything more about this game than we already have. Kyler Murray completely outplayed Matthew Stafford, who's been the two-time NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I got nothing else. You got anything else on this one? I mean,
no,
of course,
that was really fun.
Any other takeaways that you have? Leave it in the comments here. We read everything that comes through here on Locked On Cardinals on our YouTube page. Please subscribe. Thank you so much for making Locked On Cardinals the first thing you listen to each and every day, no matter how you find your podcasts, or if you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate that. Make sure to follow Alex Clancy on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. Follow me, Bo Brock, at Bob Rack on Twitter. Cardinals are 4-0. It's a Victory Monday. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you with a fresh new podcast. I think we're going to get some good guests this week, celebrate this team a little bit on this podcast, Locked On Cardinals. So look for those, and then we'll start previewing things with our guys over at Locked On Niners. But in the meantime, have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you Tuesday morning right here, YouTube, 10 a.m. You'll find your podcast as early as 12 a.m. for those early risers. Talk to you then.